Hello and welcome now to lecture 31, and in this lecture let's have a go at the bathroom. Let's have a go at the timber cladding on the floor and on the walls in the bathroom. And for the first time I'm going to sort of have a look at the mood board that I showed you in lecture 1, just to show you what I'm planning for the bathroom. So I'm going to drag this over. And of course, I'm sorry I can't share this with you because of the legal issues with sharing photos, but there's nothing stopping you sort of making up your own mood board using PureRef. So let's zoom in on this image here. And this is how I'm basing my bathroom. So it's going to look kind of like this. So I'm going to have a huge skylight on the one side, making it feel almost like it's a outside bathroom. And then timber cladding and then a mirror in the background, which should give the feeling of a little bit of infinity, a little bit of just going on and on. So let's see what we can do with that. But I think before I do that, I'm actually going to have a look at the normals, because I think there's quite a few things with incorrect normals right now. We've got some strange colours going on. The floor looks a little dark, and we have this patch here that we got in the last lecture. And I think even the windows look a little bit dark. So what I'm going to do is press A for all. I'm going to tap into edit mode with everything. I'm going to press A again to grab everything, and I'm going to go over to mesh. I'm going to go over to normals, and I'm going to go recalculate outside. Okay, I'll tap back out of edit mode, and that's already looking better. So we could actually come up here to this one, hit the drop down here and click on face orientation, and now absolutely everything is blue, which is what we want. If we could still see some reds, then we'd still have some normals incorrect, but that seems to have fixed everything. Okay, let's go back and turn off face orientation, and there we go, we're ready to go. Okay, so let's lay some boards in the bathroom. I think the first thing I want to do is reposition the cursor. So what I'm going to do is tap into edit mode with the walls selected. Press 3 so we can select faces. I'll grab this face and now this face, and I'll press Shift S and cursor to the selected. There we go. I'll tap out of edit mode now, and there's the cursor just there. Okay, so let's make sure that we're in bathroom now. So I'll compress bedroom 2. And I'll click on bathroom, and now with that done, I'm going to press Shift A, and I'm going to bring in a cube. Alright, let's press 7 so we can see this from above, and let's go into wireframe mode, and let's go ahead and scale this down. With that done, let's recalculate, so I'll press Control A, and let's apply rotation and scale to 0 those again. And here in the Y, let's make this 0.095, enter. And there we go, that's good. Okay, with that done, let's go ahead now and let's tap into edit mode with this. Let's grab this bottom face and now bring this up like this. So we get a thickness on these boards, something like that, I'd say. And now let's grab this end here. Let's press 7 to see this from above. And let's bring the edge of this board right to the wall. Let's get a bit closer so we can see where that is. And just drop that just like that there. Let's grab the other end now. And let's take that over to this wall as well. And once we've done that, tap out of edit mode, and let's go back to solid so we can see it. Okay, the scale, that's out, so let's press Control A, and let's apply rotation and scale, and now let's go ahead and add a modifier. Let's add the bevel modifier, and let's add 2 zeros to the right of the decimal point. And let's make that 1 into a 2 and click enter. And I think I think I will leave this sharp little bevel detail on there just as it is. So I'm going to actually leave that as one segment. But I'll leave this bevel modifier on there as well. Alright, now we've done that. Let's press 1 so we can see this from the front. And let's press Z and go into wireframe. And let's take this down to the floor. And this time we're not going to sit it on our polished concrete floor. We're going to take it down to the actual original floor height, which is about there, like that. So that this board is flush. Let me just go back to solid now. So that this board ends up flush with our floor. So we'll take this over like this. And maybe just take this back now until it's touching this polished concrete floor. And there we go. Maybe we could just take it a little bit more. So I'll press G and Y and just sneak this back that last little bit to something like that. Okay, that's good. That's what we want. So now that we've done that, we could either array this across, or we could actually just copy. But I think in this case, I'm going to go ahead and array. But before I do that, I'm just going to steal a copy of it. So I'll press Shift E and Y and just bring a copy out over here like this, just on its own. Now let's grab our board and let's add modifier, generate and array. Okay, so on the array we don't want this in the X, so I'll go ahead and press 0 on that. And in the Y, let's start adding. Let's start bringing this across and inspect our gap. Zoom in on this so we can see what we've got. And maybe I'll bring this back a little bit. I think that's actually absolutely perfect. The board's just touching like that. So we have that groove appearing there in the middle. So with that done, let's go ahead and increase our numbers on this to bring this across to the other side. And there we go. That's it, that's done. Okay, so we're done. So I think I'll go ahead and apply that modifier. And there we go. So there's our sort of timber floor in position. So what we need to do now is start thinking about sending these up the wall as well. So let's make a copy of this one. So I'll press Shift E and Y and bring a copy over. And now let's lift this up slightly. And now let's rotate that on the x-axis, so I'll press RX90, enter. And now we'll go ahead and take that over. Let's press 7 so we can see this from above. Whoops. And let's go ahead and take that over now to the wall. Like this. That's what I want. Let's tap into edit mode with it. And let's press 1 so we can select vertices. And let's go into wireframe mode. Grab these vertices here and bring these back until they're level with the door opening. Maybe a tiny bit forward, but not much. Maybe just that much forward of the door opening. Okay, let's go back into solid mode now. And let's see what we've got. Let's tap out of edit mode. And let's go ahead and take that up. And now let's take a look at it. Maybe take it down a little bit. And am I happy with that? I think I'm happy with that, just like that. Okay, now we've done that. Let's look at the rotation and the scale, and it's out. So let's press Ctrl A and apply rotation and scale. And then let's add a modifier. So add modifier, generate, and let's add the array modifier. And let's cancel the X. We know we don't want that. And in the Z, whoops, still got that. Don't want that. I'll click enter. There we go. And let's increase the Z. And there we go. Let's bring that up and get an idea of where we want that to be. Sort of position it as we want it, and let's bring it down in the Z until they're touching, and that's absolutely perfect. So let's increase our numbers on that until we're kind of level with the top of the door. And so we're getting to that stage now, sometimes it's going to be tricky to see what you're doing when you're working in these confined spaces, but we'll do our best. So let's increase this until we're running to the top of the door. And I think that's about as good as it's going to get. So I could, in the spacing, I could actually put this at 1.001 enter. And that's done something, but has it done enough? I don't think so. So I'm just going to turn that 1 into a 5 and click enter and see how that looks. And we're sort of going the right way with this. So I'll turn that into a 6 and click enter. Am I happy with that, having that much space between the boards? Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm happy with that. So there we go. We're done with that one. We can actually just bring the whole thing up just a tiny bit. So let's press G and Z and just bring it up. So I'll press G, Z, and just bring this up a tiny bit to about there, like that. Okay, so with that done now, we need to make a copy of this, bring it to the other side, and then edit the length. So with the array modifier still active on this one, go ahead and press Shift E and X and bring a copy over like this. Let's go ahead and tap into edit mode on this one and make sure you got vertices selection on, and let's work in wireframe mode. So because we have the array on it, we only need to sort of edit the original wooden strip. We don't need to edit all of them. So now I'll just pull this bottom one over and the rest will follow. Let's zoom in on this and try and figure out if we've got it in the right position. Maybe bring this slightly over, and there we go, that's it. So let's grab the other end of the board now and bring this back until it's flush with the floorboards. There we go, that's cool, that's what we want. Okay, so let's go back to solid mode now and see what we've got. And now let's tap out of edit mode. And I think for now, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that array modifier on those boards. Okay, so I think the next thing I need to do is make another copy of this board. So I'll press Shift D and Y, bring a copy over a little bit, bring it up in the Z, and now rotate it in the X-axis. So I'll press RX 90, enter. And now let's go ahead and take that over. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control 1 to get us the orthographic view of the back of the house and go into wireframe mode now. And now let's go ahead and bring this up and then position this where we want it. So I'm going to bring it down, so I'll press G and Z. And I'm going to put it about there, like that. There we go. So now let's apply the array modifier to this one. So we'll add modifier and generate an array. And let's cancel the X straight away. And in the Z, let's just slide this up. Oh, I see what our issue is. We actually need to fix our rotation on this. So let's press Control A and apply rotation and scale. And now in the Z, let's slide this up. There we go. And I think I'm going to make this 1.09 and enter. And we'll see what that looks like. Maybe a little bit less, so I'll make it 1.05 and enter. And let's see what that's going to look like. Okay, so let's increase the count on this now. And let's press Control 1 again to get us that nice square view of the back so we can see where we're going to. And let's see if this is going to work. And I think I'm going to leave it just there. We've got this gap here, but remember, we've got the boards running along the ceiling now, so I think that'll work out just nice. Okay, so I think I'll go ahead in this case and apply that one. We're done with this one. And there we go. So the next thing you need to do is bring in the final board, which is this one here. So I'll grab this one now and I'll bring it up and I'll press Ctrl 1 to see this from the rear and position this just above the last board. Something like this. I'm not worried about this little gap here between the top of the board here and the top of the wall, because when the ceiling's on you'll never see that gap, so not worried about that. Once we've done that, let's go back to solid mode and let's see what we've got here. Oh, of course we need to bring that over now, so let's press 7 and let's grab the board and take it over now. And just bring this over like this. And now let's go ahead and apply our array modifier to this. So add modifier and generate and array. So let's cancel the X again. And let's move this over in the Y. So we'll move this just to 1. There we go. And then we'll just increase our count. And try and figure out how much we want to be having a skylight. Maybe take this to maybe 15. And I think that, look, maybe 14. There we go. I think that's just what I want, just like that. And we can go ahead now. Let's have a look inside, see what this looks like. See what this gap is like, and that's good. And yeah, that's the timber effect that I was looking for in the bathroom. So I'll go ahead and apply that modifier. And I'll apply the array modifier on this panel. And this one we have done. And what about this little one here? Apply this array modifier as well. And the floor is done. Okay, let's take this one and let's grab this little one here as well. And with those three selected, let's press Ctrl J and join those together. And let's call that wall cladding. Whoops. There we go. What's this one here? Let's see what this one is. So that's the ceiling, so we can call that ceiling cladding. And we can call this one here ceiling cladding. And we have got here flooring. And there we go, so that's our starting, so we've started nicely now in the bathroom. Okay, so I think that's good enough for this lecture. So in the next lecture, let's put a mirror on this wall here, and then let's start building our bed frame in bedroom 1 here. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye for now. Hello, and welcome now to lecture 32. And in this lecture, let's put a mirror in this bathroom, which is quite an easy job. And then let's start building all the headboard and sort of ceiling feature panels for the bed here in the bedroom 1. But first things first, I've got a little confession. When I brought the ceiling back in, which I'll do now, let's have a look. Let's find our ceiling. Here it is. And I go into the bathroom. These boards that we've put here don't line up with the ceiling. Completely my fault, so we need to just add some extra boards to this. So let's tap into edit mode with this one here. Let's make sure we've got 3 selected so we can select faces. Grab this end board here and press Ctrl+ until all faces on that board are selected. Then let's press 7 to go in the orthographic view. Press Z and go into wireframe. And now let's go ahead and press Shift D and Y and bring a copy over like this to about there. And when you've got that in place, press Shift R and Shift R again. And that should be enough in total. Let's go and have a look underneath now. And yeah, that's worked out. And there we go. So that's done. Let's have a look inside how that looks now. And yeah, that's better. That's sort of covering up the edge of the ceiling, which is what we wanted. Okay, so let's bring the cursor to this wall now. So let's grab the walls and let's tap into edit mode. And let's select this wall here. And let's press Shift S and cursor to the selected. And there we go. Then tap out of edit mode with this one. Okay, so now we've done that. Let's press Shift A and let's bring in a plane. And let's rotate that on the Y-axis. So we'll press RY, 90, enter. And let's tap straight into edit mode with this. And let's make sure we've got edge selection on. Let's grab this top edge here now. I'm going to take this up until it's just on the ceiling like this. Let's grab the bottom one and take this down until it's just to the floor level, and do the same with the other two sides. So grab this one here and take this over, and grab this one as well and go ahead and take this over. Alright, let's press 3 now so we can select faces. Grab this face here, let's press E and X and go ahead and extrude this out slightly like this. There we go, that's cool, that's what we want. Once we've done that, let's tap out of edit mode and let's name this, and let's call this the mirror. And once we've done that, let's check the scales and the rotation's out, so let's press Ctrl A and apply rotation and scale. And let's add a bevel modifier to this. And let's have a look at that bevel modifier. And I'd say I'll leave that alone. I've got a slight bevel on that edge. Maybe it's too much. Let's increase this. Let's put an extra 0 to the right of the decimal point. Click enter. And let's go for another one. And let's turn this 1 into a 3. And there we go, that's kind of good. And I'll just, so this is what I call a chamfered edge mirror. So I'm going to leave this at one segment so that it looks like the edge has just been taken that sharp cutting edge off it and put a chamfer on it. And that will do for me, so I'll go ahead and apply that. Okay, so that's our mirror in our bathroom. That's easy, and we've fixed the issue with the ceiling. Okay, so let's leave the bathroom alone now. And let's take the roof away for now. Let's hide the roof again. And let's compress the bathroom file, and let's click on bedroom 1 and expand it. Okay, so now we'll work on the sort of the roof the framework that we have behind the bed, and it's also like a ceiling panel which comes across. So let's see if we can work on that. So the first thing I need to do is put a block in at the right size to be able to use as just simply as a reference as we build our headboard. So let's press Shift A and mesh and cube, and then that's coming on the bedroom 1. That's what we want, and we'll bring this over like this, and I'll press 7 to get this in the orthographic view, and I'll just centralize this in the room as best as I can. And that looks pretty good like that. Okay, so dimension wise, in the X, I want this to be 3.8 meters. So I'll delete that, and I'll call it 3.8, and click enter, and there we go. So that is the actual size of our headboard, and it's nothing else but a reference for that. Okay, so we could scale this down the Y, so I'll press S and Y, and then just scale this down, and then bring this over like this. There we go, that's done. So we could actually maybe reduce it in the Z as well, so press S and Z, and just bring this down so that we don't see much of it, just enough to give us a clue of how big this is going to be. So we could hide our window. I don't think we need to see that in our bedroom right now, so we'll hide that. And there we go. So the next thing I'll do is I'll bring in another cube. So I'll press Shift A and mesh in cube. And this time let's bring this over. And let's scale this down. So I'll hit S and scale this right down. So maybe we actually adjust the dimensions in this. So in the X-axis, let's make this 0.1, enter. And there we go. That's the kind of width that I want, which is 10 centimeters. And in the Y, let's make this 0.02, enter, which would be 2 centimeters. And that's the kind of thing. Oh, do you want to make it bigger? Let's make it bigger in the Y-axis. I'm sorry. Let's make this 0.05, enter. And am I happy with that? Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. That's the kind of size that I want. So once I've done that, let's go ahead and scale this up in the Z. So I'll press S and Z and just go ahead and bring this up. And let's do it again. So S and Z and just bring this up. Let's press 1 so we can see this in the orthographic elevation. And now bring this over until it's level with the edge of our cube like this. There we go. Let's tap into edit mode with this. And let's press 1 so we can select vertices. And let's go to wireframe, grab these bottom vertices and then bring this down to just on top of the skirting like this. At the top here, let's take it up to the ceiling height, which should be around about here like this. There we go. And that's the kind of size of our framework. Okay, let's tap out of edit mode for a moment and go ahead and take this back. Let's press 7 so we see this from above. And now take this back to the wall. Maybe just leave a very small gap. Maybe something like this. And there we go, that's done. Let's have a look at the scales and let's adjust that. So let's press Ctrl A and apply rotation and scale. And now let's press 1 again to get the orthographic view and let's tap back into edit mode. And let's press 2 so we can select edges, grab an edge and press Ctrl R. We'll bring this up in the Z axis until we've got it something like that. There we go. Once we've done that, press 3, grab that face there. And let's go ahead and press, well, let's press 7 first. And so we can see how far we're going with this. And now let's press E and Y and extrude this on the Y axis to, I think, about level with the edge of our bifolding doors. Something actually a bit further, maybe, pure guesstimate, about there, like that. Okay, so that's done. Let's go back to solid mode now so we can see it. Yeah, I'm happy with that, that's fine. So let's see if we can remove some of this extra mesh here. So I'll press 2, and let's see if we can get this one, and this one, and this one. And this one, and this one. Let's see if we can dissolve these. So I'll right click, and see if we can dissolve those edges. And there we go, that's cool. Okay, let's tap out of edit mode now, and let's apply a bevel to this and see if it works. And of course, let's go ahead and add 2 zeros to the right of the decimal point. And let's, straight away, let's turn the 1 into a 5 and see how that looks. And is that too much? I think that's too much. I'm going to take that to a 4. And click enter. And on the segments, let's take that to a 4, and I think that's pretty good now. I'm happy with that. But again, I'm going to go ahead and leave that active for now. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's press 1 so get the orthographic view again. And let's grab our piece, and let's just name this. So we'll call this headboard. Let's call it headboard. There we go. And let's go ahead and add a array modifier to this. And it's actually working out, X is working out all right for us. And let's increase the gap between these. So let's grab this and let's make this a 1.2 and click enter and see how that looks. And yeah, I think that's what I want. Maybe 1.2 or maybe even 1.3. Let's try 1.3 and click enter. And yeah, I think that's about right. So once we've done that, let's press 1 again to get us in that nice orthographic view. And let's just increase the count. And take these now all the way to the opposite side. See where that lands. And I'm going to take that back 1 to... Or shall I instead... No, excuse my indecisiveness. I will leave that just like that. We could actually just take this over a little bit until we're kind of central with our cube again, and I think I'm happy with that like that. And there we go. So that is our ceiling detail for our bedroom in our main bedroom. We can go ahead and delete this reference cube now. We're done with that. And there we go. That's it done. Alright, so that's it for this lecture. And in the next lecture, what we'll do is we'll start working on the headboard now in bedroom 2. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye-bye for now. Hello, and welcome now to lecture 33. And in this one, let's have a go at doing the headboard now in bedroom 2. I think we'll probably spread this over 2 lectures. It's slightly more involved than this headboard, but there's nothing we can't handle. I think the first thing to do is let's go ahead and apply the modifiers on this headboard here. So when you apply modifiers, as a general rule, always apply from the bottom up. So apply the ray first, and then let's apply the bevel. And there we go, that's that one done. So in bedroom 1, we can actually bring back the window now, and let's compress bedroom 1 file. And let's click on bedroom 2 and open this one. Again, we could hide the window, we don't need that for now. And there we go. Alright, so let's make a start. So I think the first thing we might as well do is bring the cursor over. So I'll tap on the walls, tap into edit mode, press 3 so we can select faces, grab this face here and press Shift S. And bring cursor to selected. And there we go. We can tap out of edit mode, and there we go. There's the cursor now in the right place. So let's make a start. So this, the headboard is about 2.6 meters, maybe even a bit more, about 2.7 meters, I think. We'll make the headboard something around there. So let's see what we can do. So let's start off by bringing a cube. So we'll press Shift A and mesh and cube, and there we go. So let's work it straight away in the dimensions. So let's work it first of all in the Y. Let's make it 2.7 meters. 2.7, enter, and there we go, that's correct. Now we could work the other 2 dimensions as well. So in the Z, we could make this, let's make this 0.15, so 0.15, whoops, that's 1.6, 1.5, enter, and there we go. And in the x-axis, let's make this 0.35, 0.35, enter, and there we go. That's our sort of main, or that's the start of what we're doing. Okay, yeah, that looks good as a size for these. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is let's go ahead and put a bevel on this. Let's check the scale and it's out. So let's press Ctrl A and apply rotation and scale. And now let's go ahead and put a bevel on this. So generate and bevel. And let's do the whole 2 zeros to the right of the decimal point. Click enter, and let's turn the 1 into a 5 and see how it looks. And click enter. And yeah, I think that's okay. We'll increase our segments to about a 4, and there we go. Let's leave this bevel modifier active for now on this, and let's see what's next. Alright, let's take this up to the ceiling and see how we look. So I'll take that over maybe a little bit more. And maybe just take it back in the X until it's just up to the ceiling like this. I'll press 7 to see this from above and make sure we're reasonably centered in the room. And yeah, I'm happy where it is right there. Okay, so now we've done that, let's make a duplicate of this one. So I'll press Shift D and then X and bring out a copy. I'll rotate this copy on the Z, so I'll press RZ, 90, enter. And I'll press 7 to see this from above. I'll bring it out on the X until it's sort of level with this, like here. And I'll bring it out on the Y until it's level here too. That's it. And once I've done that, I'll press Shift D and Y and bring a copy out like this. Let's bring it out a little bit further, and there we go. That's good. Okay. So the next thing to do is grab this block, and I'm going to tap into edit mode with it. And I'll press Z and I'll go into wireframe, and I'll just grab this edge, this face here, and I'll just take this back. Zoom in a little bit, and just stop when it's snug up to the other one, like this. There we go, that's cool. I'll do that on the other side as well. And I'll bring this back until it's snug up to the other one. And there we go, that's cool. So I'll tap out of edit mode with this, and then I'll press Shift E and X and bring a copy over now to the opposite side like this. Okay, that's cool. So let's see what we've got now in solid mode. So I'll press Z and go back to solid mode. And I'm going to grab all 4 of these pieces. So I'll this one, and this one. And now I'll press Shift S and I'll go cursor to the selected. Now that I've done that, I'll press 7 to get the orthographic view, and I'll press Shift A. And I'll go for plane. And I'm just going to scale that plane down just a little bit. So I'll press S and just scale this in like this. Until we get maybe something like that. I think that's just fine. Okay, so we could tap into edit mode with this one now. Make sure we've got face selected. And let's extrude that up in the Z, I'm sorry. So let's press E and Z and then just bring this up like this. So we get a little bit of thickness in this. There we go. And tap out of edit mode and take it down just a tiny bit like that. Okay, there we go. So let's look at the scale on this, and it's out a little bit. So let's press Control A and apply rotation and scale. And now let's apply a bevel to this. And let's have a look at what we got. So let's add our 2 zeros. And let's try the 5. Let's see if we can just put a 5 there and see how it looks. And there we go. I'm happy with that. I'll increase the segments to maybe just a 2. In this case, I'll go ahead and apply this. Alright, that's cool. That's done. We could do a shade auto smooth on this. And there we go. Okay, so the next thing we could do is actually go ahead and apply, or let's join these together first. So I'll grab all 4 of these and we'll press Control J and join those into one block. And then we'll also go ahead and apply the bevel to this. There we go. Alright, so now that we've done that, let's do a shade auto smooth on this. And there we go, that's that one done. I think actually I'll just bring this one forward a little. It's not quite sort of level with the others. So I'll tap into edit mode with it and grab a face on this, hit Control and plus. And let's press 7 to see it from above. And I'll just bring it out a smidge on the X axis. So I'll press G and then X and just bring this out. And that's better. That's what I want. Okay, let's tap out of edit mode on that. And we're happy now. Okay, and I think that's all we need to do for one lecture. If I tried to do all of this in just one lecture, it'd be really long. So I'm going to break this into 2 nice short lectures. Alright, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now. Okay, hello, and welcome now to lecture 34. And let's just pick up where we left off with this bedroom to headboard. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is tap into edit mode on the walls. So I'll hit the tab key and I'll press 3 on the keyboard so we can select faces. Grab this face here, press Shift S and cursor to the selected. Okay, let's tab out of edit mode with that. And with that done, let's press Shift A and mesh, and let's go ahead and bring in a cube. Let's scale this down in the X. We'll press S and X and just flatten this out quite a bit. Bring this out a little bit like this. And let's go ahead and scale it down a little bit more. So I'll press SX and scale this down to something like this maybe. That should be good. Alright, I'll press 7 like this. And I'll go into wireframe mode. And I'll tap into edit mode with that. And I'll press 1 for vertices selection, and I'll go ahead and grab these vertices here and just pull those over to something like that. So not all the way to the edge of the frame we made in the last lecture, but close. And here I'm going to grab these ones and do the same thing. I'll pull these over until they're kind of there like that. That looks about right to me. Alright, so now what? Let's grab these top vertices here and let's press 1 so we see this in the orthographic view and go ahead and bring those up to something like that. And let's grab the bottom ones and we'll pull those down to something like that. Okay, so let's tap out of edit mode with that and then bring the whole thing back a little like this to about there like that. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is let's go ahead and set the origin back to the geometry like that. And now let's press Shift S and let's bring the cursor to the selected. And with that done, let's press Shift A and let's bring in another cube. Let's scale it down. We'll just hit S and scale it all the way down like this. And we could press 7 to see this from the orthographic view. And maybe we'll actually enter these properly. So I'll fix the scale, so I'll press Control A and apply rotation and scale. And in the y-axis, let's make this 0.075. 0.075, enter. And in the x-axis, let's make it 0.01 and click enter. And that's not enough. I think I need more than that. So I'll make this about a 5, I think. Let's delete that one and click 5 and click enter. And we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so I think that's it for that way. Let's tap into edit mode with that now and let's press 1 so we see this from this angle. Let's grab these vertices here and now pull those up until we are... Where do we want to be? I think it's about there. Should be about right. And we'll grab these ones here and we'll pull these down now until they're just off the floor. Something like here, I'd say. Okay, so let's tap out of edit mode with that and let's press 3 so we see this from the side. And let's go ahead now and pull that over until that's sort of level with this. Actually, I need to take this up higher. It needs to go up here. So I'll tap into edit mode, grab these ones and bring these up until it's there like that. That's better. I'll tap out of edit mode with that now and take that right to the edge like this. Let's see what that's like at the bottom, see if I got that right. And I did. That's better. So let's press Shift D now and let's press Y and let's bring a copy over now to the opposite side like this and just bring that over to, I'm going to say about there like that. Once we've done that, let's make a copy. So I'll press Shift D again and Y and bring that over like this. And I'm going to rotate this on the X axis. So RX 90, enter. And I'll bring this to the middle here like this, to the middle of that cursor. I'll now scale it down the Y, so I'll press S and Y, and just bring this in to something like that, and now take it up like this. Let's zoom in on this, and go ahead and take that up some more, until it's about there like that. Okay, so let's tap into edit mode with this one, and we'll grab these first vertices here, and we'll take those over until it's level with the vertical piece one we just made. There we go, and we'll do the same with this side too. Grab these ones and take them over until it's sort of level or flush with the verticals we just made a minute ago. There we go, that's done. Once we've done that, let's grab these vertices here and take these over until they're sort of level with the internal edge. There we go, and we'll do the same with these other ones here. Grab these ones and take these over until they're level with this other edge. And that's what we want, that's cool. Let's tap out of edit mode with that one, and we'll grab this one, hold shift and grab this one, and now let's tap back into edit mode. And we can grab this one here, hold shift and grab this one, and now take both those down until we've got this angular joint here. We can take those up a little bit, and that's about what we want, that's fine now. Okay, let's tap out of edit mode with that and grab this one now. And let's press Shift D and Z and bring a copy down a little bit like this. And now let's rotate that, so let's press RX 180, enter, and now bring this one down to the bottom now until we are level with the two vertical pieces again. Is that about right? It looks like we want to take it over a tiny bit to about here and bring it down a tiny bit. And let's see if that's working, and it is. So let's grab this one now, and we'll grab this other vertical one, and we can tap into edit mode with those. We could grab these vertices and now these vertices and take those up. And now let's bring them down a little bit until they're looking about right. So I'm going to press G and Z, and I bring these down to something like that. And I'm just going to adjust these by hand, so I'll just grab this one and just tweak this one in. There we go, just bring it in until we're looking good. There we go, that's good. And we'll do the same with this other one too. We'll just grab this one and just bring it down a little bit. Bring it over a little bit. And there we go, that's good. Okay, so let's tap out of edit mode with that, and let's go back to solid mode and see what we've got. And sorry, whoops, it looks like my mistake. It looks like I've built the entire structure inside the wall here. Sorry about that, folks. Let's sort this out. So I'll press Z and I'll go to wireframe. And let's press 7. And let's grab this entire thing like this. Whoops. Let's just grab these items here, sorry. So we'll grab these ones. And let's bring those forward out of the wall. Whoops, sorry about that, folks. Okay, let's press Z and let's go back into solid mode. And there we go, that's done. And that's looking good. So what we could do now is maybe just grab these items. Just this one, this one, this one, this one, and the last one here. And let's hit the / key on the numpad to isolate those items. Okay, let's just individually check the scales on these. And this one's out, so I'll press Ctrl A and apply rotation and scale. And let's just repeat that. And on the bottom one as well. Okay. So now let's grab these 4 items here. There we go. And let's press Ctrl J and join them all together. And now let's go ahead and add a bevel modifier to this. And of course that's a little much, so let's add our 2 zeros. And let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I don't think I'll go any more. I think I'll increase my segments to maybe 3, and I'll do a shade auto smooth as well. And yeah, I'm more than happy with that. That looks great. So I'll go ahead and apply that bevel modifier. And there we go, that's done. Okay, so with that done, let's head back. Let's hit the / key to bring everything back. And let's grab that center panel. And let's grab this one. And let's press Ctrl J and join them both together. And let's grab those and bring a copy over to the opposite side. So I'll press Shift D and Y and bring a copy over like this. I'll press 7 to see this from above, and now just scoot this over until it's level with the outside edge of the stuff we made before. And there we go, that's done. Okay, so that's our headboard finished for this room too. So there's quite a few items here, so I think what I'm going to do is create a sub file in here in bedroom 2. So I'll select bedroom 2, I'll hit the file, and there we go. And here is bedroom 2.2, so I'll grab this, I'll delete that heading, and I'll call it the headboard. There we go. And then I'll grab these items, I'll grab this, and then the plane there in the middle, and I'll grab this one, and then this one, and then I'll press M, and I'll click on collection and go to first floor, and then go to bedroom 2, and then go to headboard, and there we go. So that's dropped all those items into this subfolder here. I'll compress that, and I'll compress bedroom 2. And there we go, so that's the headboard finished in bedroom 2. We can actually bring back whatever's missing, so we could click on the middle roof and open that up, and then this one, and let's open bedroom 2 and bring back the window, open bedroom 1, and I've already turned the window on this one. So I'll compress bedroom 1, compress bedroom 2, and compress the first floor. And there we go. So our outliner is still looking super neat when everything's compressed, minimal amounts. Alright, so we could turn on the ground floor. And that's it, I think, for modelling on the first floor. I think we're already on the first floor for all our textures. But I think before we do that, let's carry on now with the ground floor in the next lecture. So in this one, we need to apply our floor, and we need to make this feature wall with a TV, etc. on this wall, and we need to do a little bit on this side as well. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye-bye for now. Hello, and welcome now to, what lecture are we on? Lecture 35. And in this lecture, let's start our feature TV wall, which it goes just here. So let me actually just bring in my pure F board so you can see it again. Drag it on over and in from my other screen. And I'm sort of using this as my inspiration here. This is vaguely what I'm going to do. I'm going to skip the fire here, this alcove, but the rest is going to be vaguely what we're going to do. Alright, let's push this to one side again. We don't need that. And let's make a start. So, first things first, we don't need the first floor, so let's go and hide that. So we just have the ground floor. And we don't even need all of the ground. Oh, we do, because we're going to put a floor in first. I'm getting ahead of myself. We do need a floor in. So let's go ahead and open the ground floor file. And I think I want to create a separate file in here now, because ground floor walls isn't comprehensive enough. So I'm going to click on the ground floor file and hit subfolder. There it is there. I'll click on it, and I'm just going to call this interior. There we go, and click enter. But for now, I'm just going to click on ground floor walls. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and bring the cursor back to here, where all the axes cross. And this is called, or I did say it, I think in lecture 2 or lecture 3, but just to remind you, it's called the world origin. So let's bring it back to there. So I'll press Shift S, and cursor back to world origin. There we go. Now that I've done that, I'll press 7 and I'll press Shift A and let's bring in a plane. Okay, let's just tap straight into edit mode with this. And let's press 2 so we can select edges. Let's grab this edge here and pull this over until it's slightly under the wall. Do the same with this one, pull this over until it's slightly under the wall. And just repeat this process. Pull this over, and this one as well, of course. There we go. So we can tap out of edit mode with this, and let's have a look at it and see if we're happy enough with the height. I'll just zoom in a little bit, and I'm just looking really what it's doing in relation to this track for the doors, and I think I'm absolutely happy with that. So let's just select it again, and let's name it, and let's call it the floor. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to compress the ground floor walls file, and I'm just going to click on the interior file. There we go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and bring the cursor over here. So let's grab this wall here. Well, actually, let's hide some of this stuff, because all we really need at this stage is the walls and the floor, and I think that's about it. So with those two selected, I'll hit the / key on the numpad to go ahead and isolate them. And now let's tap into edit mode with these walls. And let's press 3 so we can select faces, grab this face here and press Shift S. And cursor to the selected. There we go. Let's tap out of edit mode with a wall. We're done with that now. And let's work on creating the sort of vertical strips first. So let's press Shift A and Mesh and Cube. Let's press 7 to see this from above. And let's go ahead and scale that down significantly. So I'll hit S and just bring this down to something like that. I'll bring it right now to the edge of the wall. And just bring it flush with the edge of the wall, and of course forward until it's flush with the wall as well. And let's have a look at that and see. Maybe I'll first of all scale it in the Z to get a better idea of the proportion of this. And I'll do that again, S and Z. And just bring this up. And I think it's too big. So I'll press 7 again. And I'll scale this down in the Y, so I'll press SY and just bring this down like this now. To maybe something like that, and now bring that over again. And now let's scale it down slightly in the X, so S and X, bring this down like this, and now touch it to the wall again. And let's have a look at that, see if we're happy with the sort of proportions of that one. And I think I'm going to tap into edit mode with it, and grab this face here now and take this back a little bit. And do this rather than repositioning it each time we scale. Let's grab this one now and let's take this one back a little bit. And that, I think, is more like what I'm thinking. I might even take this face back a little bit more. And there we go. I'll grab this top face now. And I'll bring this until it's kind of flush with the top of the wall. I'll just press 3 so I see this from this angle orthographically. And I just bring this up until it's just under the wall edge. There we go, like that. Now let's grab this one here. And I'll press 3 again. And I'll take this up until we kind of have the right kind of spacing. Which is, I'll bring it over again for a minute, and you can kind of see it's about 2/3 here to about 1/3 at the bottom. But I think I'll make mine a little more equal top and bottom on these. So let's take that back, and I'll take this up a little bit more to maybe something like that, I'd say. Alright, so I'll tap out of edit mode with this, and I'll fix the scale because that's got to be out. Let's press Ctrl A and apply rotation and scale. And then let's right click on it as well and set the origin to the geometry. There we go. Okay, so now let's apply a bevel modifier to this. So generate and bevel. And of course, let's put our standard 2 zeros to the right of the decimal point. And let's turn our 1 straight away into a 4 and see how that looks. Is that too much? Am I thinking that's too much? Yes, I'll turn that 4 into a 3. And enter. And let's increase our segments to about 4. And yeah, I think that's good. I think that's what I like. I'll do a shade auto smooth on this. There we go. But I'll leave this bevel modifier active for now. Okay, now we've done that, let's just add a modifier again straight away. So add modifier, generate, and array. Okay, so we don't really want this to array in the X, so we will turn that to a 0. Enter, there we go. And in the Y, let's go ahead and scoot that over. And see what we get. I'll press 3 again on the numpad to get us that orthographic view so we can see what's happening here. Zoom in a little bit and take that Y up to about maybe, let's see. So 1.3 I'd say looks good to me. I think I'll leave that at 1.3. And now I'll go ahead and increase the count. Bring this across. To, I would say about there. Yeah, I'd say about there looks good for me. Okay, now I've done that, I'm going to leave this bevel modifier active. And I'm going to press Shift-D and Z and bring a copy down. And I'll press 3 again to get it in the orthographic view. And I'll go ahead and carry on bringing those down to, I'd say, about there, like that. I'll tap into edit mode, grab that face there, press 3 again, and now bring those down. And this is the big benefit, still keeping the array modifier active, is if I change the first, all the others will follow. So I'll bring this down like this to get us the size of the marble panel, which will go there. And I think that's good now. Okay, I'll tap out of edit mode with that and check the scale and everything on that, and that's okay. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is look at putting our first panel in there. So let's do that next. So let's press Shift-A and Mesh and Cube. And let's press 7 and let's scale this down and bring this over like this. To kind of get our gap right, so something like that, I'd say. And now let's scale it down in the X, so SX. Maybe bring this forward like this. Scale it down a tiny bit more in the X, so SX. And there we go, that's about right. Okay, so let's press 3 on the numpad to get us in the orthographic view, and then let's go ahead and take this up to the top like this. And there we go, that's good. So let's tap into edit mode with this, and let's press Z to go into wireframe, grab the bottom edge here now, and go ahead and bring this over like this. And there we go, that's good. Maybe I'll just reduce the width of this panel, so I'm going to bring this over a little bit like this. Yeah, that's good to me. So with that done, I'll go ahead and tap out of edit mode, and I'll go back to solid as well. And I'll fix the scale on this, so Control A, and apply rotation and scale. And let's go ahead and add that bevel modifier to this as well. 2 zeros. And a 2 maybe, just a 2 on this. And increase our segments to 2. And there we go. And again, I think I'll just leave that bevel modifier active for now. Okay, so I think if I push on, this lecture is going to be too long for just one lecture, so we'll split this into 2. So in the next lecture, we'll carry on placing our panels across here, put a base here at the bottom, and put our marble backing panel in as well. Alright, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.